going to go through top packing tips to make your next move as easy and stress-free and clutter-free as possible. If we haven't met yet, my name is Michelle and I am a local realtor in the greater Seattle area. It's nice to meet you. In this channel, I go over all things real estate related, whether it's community guides, exploring different cities to alternative downtown living, packing tips, real estate 101, and if there's a certain video that you would like to see covered, make sure to comment below. Have you thought about making a move, but the thought of actually going through the process and moving is completely overwhelming or maybe stressing you out a little bit? It can be the things that keep you up at night. If this might be a challenge of yours, you've come to the right place. All right, let's jump into Moving 101. The first tip is obviously get prepared. The earlier you start, the better. Part of being prepared is really planning the logistics of your move. Are you going to be hiring a moving company? If so, you need to start looking for a moving company that you are going to trust to move your valuables to your next home. Are you going to be doing more of a do-it-yourself move and renting, for example, a U-Haul truck? If you're going to be doing that, you also need to book that out early. So starting about 6 to 8 weeks, you need to start planning who your moving company or rental truck company is going to be. And here's a tip. You want to make sure that you rent a truck that has a ramp. It just makes moving purposes so much faster and easier on you. And regarding your moving company, you want to also get quotes. Get at least 3 quotes to make sure that you are getting the best bid and that the reviews are good. And again, your real estate agent might have their preferred movers as well. So you might want to connect with them to see if they match up with what you're finding. Step number 2 is thinning out your personal belongings, or also known as decluttering. You want to really start looking at your belongings and seeing what you really want to keep and maybe things that you can let go. We do have tendencies to hold on to things that we really don't need. So make a couple piles. Make a donate pile, a keep pile, and a giveaway pile for maybe family members. And then also a trash pile. Just coming out of spring cleaning, I was cleaning out this drawer and I had a whole handful of keys that we probably have had these keys for about 5 years. I have no idea, well, maybe more like 15 years. I don't know where these keys came from, what they're to. I finally decided to throw them away. It's such a freeing feeling to let go of things that you really don't need any longer. Step 3 is having like-size boxes. It might seem convenient and cost-effective to find boxes from local stores. You're going to realize those odd box shapes don't stack very well, and it's just much easier if you get a variety of moving boxes in 3 different sizes: large, medium, and small. It does seem a little wasteful and a little expensive, but it's just going to make your moving experience that much easier. You can also use plastic storage bins, like tote bins, if that's something that you're going to use in the future for storage anyhow. Speaking of packing boxes, another useful tip is to use color-coded tape or note cards to identify what boxes go into what rooms. Another really cool item to use for your next move is something called Tote Scans. I'm a huge QR code fan, and if you don't know what a QR code is, you should look it up. It's just this little square. A lot of you have seen it at restaurants because of COVID. Anyway, you literally sync up your phone to the app and then scan the QR code, and then it pops up a list and you can type in into your smartphone all the items that are actually stored in that particular bin. It makes storing items that much easier, and that way you don't have to rummage through each box or bin to see what's actually in it. My next pro moving tip is to clean as you go. It makes moving out of your house that much easier and quicker. You pack up and you clean out a shelf, make sure you just clean off that shelf with cleaning products. Another tip is to make sure you create a personal/essentials box, and that might even be for each individual person in your family. And don't forget about your pets. The last thing you want to be doing is on the day of your move, you move into your new house and you can't find needed items like prescriptions, toothpaste, something to sleep in, change of clothes the next day, toiletries. It's a really great idea to pack those essentials into one box. And again, one box per person. And maybe if you have children, a personal box for toys, favorite toys and books, things like that. With a personal essential box, make sure that you also think about including a first aid kit. With all that unloading and loading and assembling and disassembling items, someone's bound to get hurt, even just a nick or something from a box cutter. It's just nice to be prepared, so make sure to pack that. These little tips just help make the next move an easy transition for everyone in your family. And another tip of being prepared is also being packed early. Try and aim for being packed at least one day ahead of moving day. Don't let friends pack. Friends might help you move, but they sure don't want to help you pack. And I know when I was first moving out from an apartment into our first house, I was a little unprepared and a little unorganized. I was cramming stuff in the back of a car and in plastic random bags. You do not want to move like that. It is stressful, and it is just nice to be organized and start fresh. Another pro tip for moving is no matter who's helping you move, pack a cooler. Make sure that you have snacks and refreshments ready to go for anyone who's helping you move. Whether it be a professional team, it's just always nice to offer water, and especially if it's your friends, be prepared to feed them and to give them beverages. It makes doing you a favor that much more fun, and also make sure that you keep your radio handy. A lot of us now have Bluetooth speakers, and it's just nice to have music going and make it more of a fun environment. Another great tip is to create a Kitchen 101 Essentials box, and that's just to have things ready to roll for your first maybe day or two before you get really unpacked in your new house in your kitchen. Have paper plates, paper towels, napkins, plastic utensils. It's just going to make unpacking and eating easy, and that way you don't have to be stressed in getting your whole entire kitchen set up. Another thing that goes overlooked at times is how are you going to spend the first night in your new home? Are you going to sleep on mattresses on the floor? It's going to be maybe a little bit of a challenge to get bed frames set up all in one day, so it's just something to think about. I know with families it's kind of fun to do a slumber party if your kids are into that, and that way you can just have a bunch of sleeping bags and pillows ready to go, and everybody just talks about what kind of new adventures they're going to have in their new house. And last but not least, make sure that you pack a moving supply box last. There's always going to be last minute things that you are going to need to put into a random box, and part of that might be tools and duct tape and packing tape, Sharpies, a knife box cutter, a toolkit. You have to think about what is going to be important in setting up your new home and the furniture that you need to assemble. What kind of tools are you going to need? You don't want to be scrambling around trying to locate those items. So pack it all in that last box and label it as moving essentials. It just will make that transition so much smoother. This has been a general moving 101 tip informational video. I have a lot more in-depth details about how to get yourself prepared for your next move. And if being organized and having checklists is your thing and you would like to have something that will help you with your next move, connect with me and I can provide you resources just for that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have found some tips that can be useful for your next move. Please make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and that way you're alerted for when new videos like this come out. And please make sure to comment below. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions on upcoming videos, I would love to hear feedback. And as always, I look forward to connecting with you and figuring out what's your next move.